Okay, changing the belt on the McLane reel mower. Gonna get started here. Pretty much a 1/2 inch socket's what you're gonna need. I'm just gonna take this chain cover off here just for some photographic clarity. So I'm gonna just take the clutch linkage off here, cotter pin. Just going to move this out of the way. Okay, got to remove the belt guard. Pretty simple. The belt guard is going to be important when we reinstall this. So, belt guard. Got to keep my tools organized here. Keep my parts organized. Okay, so to get the belt off, we need to remove the spring. And this, I've always had an issue putting it back on, but it pops off pretty easy. This is going to be your clutch lever return spring right here. This is basically what makes your clutch lever handle bounce back when you release the clutch. And all this clutch is basically doing here is when you push down on this, down in here, there is a pulley that's just going to put more tension on the belt. Putting more tension on the belt, the engine's always spinning, putting more tension on the belt, which is then going to put tension to the belt on your jack shaft back here. Your jack shaft's going to spin, turn your chain, which is going to turn your wheel. That in turn hooks up over to the other side of the mower where your chain is. That's going to turn the reel, and that's basically how this operation works here. So this is how you adjust this spring here. I've been it a few times too many, so I'm probably going to have to replace this. I'm really good friends with the people at McLane's. That's kind of sarcasm right there. They probably don't like me because I call them a lot for parts and stuff like that. But that's another story. So now that we've got this spring out, we could just basically pull the get the tension off the belt here. And we can just loosen this off of here by turning, pulling and turning, pulling and turning. Oh, it's kind of hard to do here. Got to get situated. Okay. See there, I just turned and pulled it off. And then now we just got to maneuver around all this stuff back here. So I'm just going to pop this back down here. So I can get it off the back pulley. I gotta go. I went the wrong way. I'm supposed to go the other way. But I think I can do this. Get this off the back belt. Like that. Now we can come up through here. Push this rod down so the belt will come through here. Just like that. Once that's down, belt pops off. Boom, good to go. I put this belt on. It's the original size belt. It's the 4L190 is this belt. This belt right here. That's the manufacturer's recommended belt. I'm actually putting on this bigger belt, the 4L195. So I think I said in a previous video, actually I know I did, that I feel like it needs a bigger belt. And the reason why is because when you're adjusting the clutch, it doesn't seem to want to engage as close to the handle as they tell you to in the instructions. So with the 190 belt right here, the original manufacturer belt, when you engage the clutch back here, oops, didn't mean to do that, sorry. When you engage the clutch back here, clutch handle, it's supposed to engage when you get it almost all the way up to the top here to the handle. And I just don't see that happening with this belt. I have adjusted it till it's as far as it will adjust, and it just doesn't do it. So I'm just going to put this one on real quick. It's really simple to put this belt on. I'm going to try to adjust it and get everything dialed in. I mean, as you see, we've already got the new belt on right here. It's definitely bigger. I don't have it routed properly, so let me get this routed properly before I make a mistake putting this back together. Okay, so the belt's got to go in front of the pulley down here. That's this pulley that the clutch lever pushes down here. And I'm going to go ahead and point this out right here. See how this clutch lever rod, there's a longer piece that sticks out this way, and then there's a shorter one up at the top. If the longer piece isn't down here, your clutch is not going to work properly. This actually helps what breaks the tension off of the jack shaft in the back when you release the clutch shaft to disengage the belt. Okay, so that's important. So I've got my belt routed in front of the pulley. So when I push down on this, it's going to put tension on the belt to the jack shaft, yada, yada, yada. And I'm going to put spring back on. I believe this bolt down here tightened up on me. I pulled it forward. I'm going to loosen this. Looks like the I think 7/16 or 9/16. Anyways, this right here is putting pressure on the piece that the clutch rod attaches to, so it's not moving very freely right now. So I'm going to go ahead and put the spring on, then I'm going to deal with that. And I think that's just from pulling back and forth on this rod when it's all the way forward. This is probably the most difficult part of putting this belt back on. There we go. All right, that's on there. So as you see, this is not flowing very freely. I'm going to take my... All right, that is a 5/8. There we go. So that's all it took. Took a little tension off, so now it's popping back and forth really good. Now we're going to see if we can get this rod adjusted here so it's perfect. And this is the fun part of the process. Now, McLane wants you, or tells you, that you need to install this belt guard, and I don't have any reason not to believe him. You need to adjust this belt guard so that it tilts forward. Also, well, before I put this in, I'm going to just note here, there's a little star washer on here, and it is a very stubby bolt. The one that comes off the chain guard is a little longer because this has to go in just enough to tighten this on, but not too far, because if it goes too far, then it interferes with this clutch rod mechanism right here. And yeah, of course you don't want that. So I know you probably can't really see this too well, but down in here, this is supposed to lean down forward to make it so that the belt is pushed down on, and is also another mechanism of making it so the jack shaft disengages from the engine through the belt here. So between this bar down here and this top piece, it makes it so the belt will compress enough to take tension off the jack shaft back there and stop the reel from spinning. I feel like I got it too far forward there. So just adjusting it a little. Okay, so this is where you just adjust the whole starting process to engage the reel with the belt. So I got the engine off, and a disconnect spark plug, and when you pull the handle with the clutch handle all the way out, you got nothing. Nothing spins. Okay, so this is the handle right here. So we're just gonna see where we're at. Nothing, 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 nothing. Okay, so we're all the way up. We got nothing. So we're gonna work on our good old mechanism down here. This is our adjuster. So I have this all the way compressed right now. So I'm going to take some tension off of it. Expand this a little bit. And now what the instructions are going to tell you is to back this out a couple turns. It's going to make it longer. I'm just using the cotter pin to hold it in there. Still nothing. So I can make this longer here by turning this as well. Okay, now we're spinning. Just barely spinning. So we need to give it a couple more turns. So again, I'm going to turn this one turn. And just notice every time I'm adjusting it here, I'm taking the rod out of the lever here. Just loosely putting this cotter pack in back to hold it. Okay, so now I've got it to where, see when I'm pulling right here, I have the clutch handle not all the way engaged. It's not spinning when I pull it. It's not spinning when I pull it. It's not spinning when I pull it. Okay, starting to spin right here. See how the clutch lever is almost all the way to the handle? That's how McLane says to adjust it. Now when I pull it all the way, it's engaged. And we might need to do it one more time. What we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and start this bad boy up and see what's going on. I need to put the spark plug back on. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see down here, but I've got some blocks on the wheels in the back here. I also use those to set the wheels up on when I want to get the mower up off the ground. And then up in the front here, same thing. This is my board that I use for adjusting the blade height. I have a couple of pieces right here that are screwed into the board. It's just a stop, keeps it from rolling forward, and it gives me something so I can put some tension on it, pressure on it forward when I'm working on it. So it's just and the board is also level, and it's a good level field for me to adjust the bed knife for the cutting height. What I've noticed was when you're adjusting it on your concrete floor probably isn't level. That's what I noticed with mine. It was really frustrating when I first started adjusting this because, man, was it a pain. And then I'd put it on this board and all of a sudden it became very simple. So now I just use this board all the time. Plus, that's going to keep your level field from your front roller to your back tire. When you're adjusting the blade, you're just going to put your tire all the way down. Engage. It's basically called engaging the drive. And when your drive is engaged, tires down, that's what creates the distance between your back of your mower and the front of the reel. And where the bed knife lays, that height is what you're adjusting at this point. When you put a shim, and this is something I'm going to show you in another video to adjust the blade height. There's a shim that I use to adjust the blade height. I have one for 2 millimeters and I have one for 1/4 inch. Those are the heights I'm using right now. I just mowed yesterday at 2 millimeters. I have a video going to do for that later today as well. So I'm just trying to get this new belt on. And like I said, this is the bigger belt, the 195. The 190 I had on there, and I had the rod adjusted as much as it would go, and it still was not putting enough tension on it. It was engaging barely, about halfway. When I engaged the clutch lever, about halfway, the reel was engaging and starting to spin. The instructions say they don't want it to start spinning until you're all the way up at the handle. And that's where I'm at right now. So I'm going to disengage my drive tire. So we're not going to spin if the reel starts spinning, all that kind of good stuff. I've got my blocks on to keep it from rolling forward, hopefully, if it did. But it shouldn't. We're disengaged. Even if the reel starts spinning, that's the thing about the McLane mower. The reel can spin, but the drive tire won't be on the ground because you have to engage the drive tire and you have to engage the reel at the same time to get this thing to propel forward. You can literally push this thing by hand with just the reel spinning and no drive wheel engaged. That's the good thing about this McLane. The California trimmer, you can't do that. The drive wheel and the reel engage is all the same mechanism. And so when you engage the reel, it starts moving. You can't push it manually and have the reel spinning. So go ahead and start this thing. That's engaging out there. And I have the lever about 3/4 of the way up when it's engaging. You know, I'm just for whatever. I'm going to just do another turn on this thing. and do one more. Let's see where we're at. Okay, everything should start. On and on. Okay, I'm gonna call that good. That's definitely better than it was before. It's engaging at about 3/4 of the clutch lever being engaged. So that's that. Gonna tighten these up. My adjusting bolt here on my rod. Give me some more. Just makes it so it's not going to back out. Spin and get loose. All right. Okay, all I got to do is put the chain guard back on, and that's about it. Start her up one more time. Okay, so the drive tire is spinning down here when the reel's engaged and spinning. The drive tire is spinning, but it's not on the ground. Until you put the clutch, the drive release down, it's not going to. The drive tire is not going to make contact with the ground, unless, of course, you tilt the reel mower back. If you tilt the reel mower back, it's going to hit the ground, and it's going to start moving forward. But since it's off the ground, so that's a belt replacement, belt adjustment on the McLane Greens Keeper. Mine's a 20-inch.